Hi, my name is Judy Halone, and I'm actually Katie's mom that's out there cooking, making all those wonderful smiles, and she made the cookies. Allison and Cindy, I want to thank you so much, and Jay, I want to thank you for setting this up and hosting today, and honored guests here. Thank you for coming, because each one of us here, each one of you, gave something today that you're never going to get back. You invested in your time. Time is our greatest asset. Have you heard that before? We never get it back. So I am very honored that you came, not just to hear me, but for the whole thing, that you are investing in yourself or possibly investing in the life of someone that you care about who has been touched by cancer. So I really appreciate that. On September 22nd, 2018, I was returning from on a flight from Maui, and I was disgusted with myself. I weighed 220.4 pounds when I put on a wetsuit in Maui. I had to wear the largest size they had, and if you've ever worn a wetsuit, they're not easy to put on anyway. They stick to you everywhere, and it was really hard to zip up. On the return home, on the flight home and the outbound flight, my seatbelt was as attached, you know what I mean, as loose as it would go without getting a seatbelt extender. And I covered myself for that 6-hour flight with my sweater, because I don't know if you've ever done it, but many of us have a tendency to cover ourselves when we're sitting because we are so ashamed of our fat. I didn't like how I had let myself go. I had tried so many diets, and you don't have to raise your hand. I'm sure I'm the only one who has ever done Atkins. Weight Watchers, I did that 4 times. I did Atkins once. I did the Hollywood diet. I took this stinking prescription medicine. It had the letter X in it, whatever it was. Thank God it's off the market. And it gave me diarrhea, and it soaked up all the fat. So go figure, that was not a joy. I was a certified health coach for Optavia, Take Shape for Life, for what would you call meal replacements. We've all heard of meal replacements, right? I'm not saying that any of these programs are bad, but I thought that I had found the magic bullet in those. I spent over $3,000 on meal replacements alone, not including my health coaching and the trips and everything. And wow, I lost a lot of weight. And guess what happened? I gained it back, because 90% of us will regain our weight within 2 years if we don't have emotional support, and that is a statistic. It's a fact. It's a fact. I was sick and tired of being where I was in life. My cholesterol was high, my blood pressure was high, and I was sick of it. So on September 23rd, 2018, I walked into Dr. Daniel Roquiz's office, and I said, he looked right at me, and he said, "What's going on?" I said, and word for word, I said, "Dr. Roquiz, I am tired of being frumpy. I don't like to look frumpy. I am tired of being grumpy, and I want help." And he said, I would love if every doctor in the world could be like this. His reaction to me was, "How would you like us to help you with your goals?" That was nice. It wasn't, "You need to lose weight. Here's a prescription." He wanted to work with me. He told me about switching to a plant-based diet, which I had been doing 2 years previous, thanks to Katie and my other daughter, Amy. So I was kind of familiar with it, and I thought, I have to go all in on this. And my first question to him was, well, if I do that, this is usually the number one question when someone talks about switching to a plant-based diet, or if you want to say vegetarian. Well, where am I going to get the protein? Yes. And you know what his answer was? The same answer I give to everyone now, from the same source as where the animals get theirs. The animals don't make protein. That was news to me. I grew up, my dad worked at Swift & Company growing up, so I grew up on meat, right? So I didn't know that animals don't make protein, and I also wasn't aware that animals carry saturated fats and cholesterol and all the chemicals and the lovely hormones and everything that they pump the animals with. And he said, just get it from the plants. So moving forward over a course of time here, I eventually cut out all meat. I had already done the meat, but I cut out the dairy and everything because I knew for me, my health depended on it. I did it. The very next day, I joined a nonprofit weight loss and wellness support group called Take Off Pounds Sensibly. Have you heard of that? TOPS Incorporated? It's the world's oldest. It's been around since 1948. We just had our 75th anniversary yesterday. I am an advocate for them, and I am blessed to be able to travel all the way from Sandpoint down to Grangeville and visit my 9 chapters as a volunteer. And I get to encourage these men, there are men and women, and just encourage them to live their healthiest life. Whatever plan of eating they're on, TOPS is just there as a support group, and we support people, and it's really made a difference for me. So I knew that I needed to lose weight. I went plant-based. And so what I decided to do, since all of the other plans that I had paid a bucket load of money for had worked, but then they didn't work because they weren't sustainable, I decided instead to switch to calorie density. And I've heard one of the speakers speak about calorie density. Have you heard the term calorie density? Okay, calorie density is a term that's used to measure the amount of calories in 1 pound of food. And I want to give you this example first. Do you know how much food that our stomachs hold? Any ideas? How many cups of food? If you want to, I'm not scientific, I'm going to say by cups. Cups? 5 cups? You're really close, 4 cups. So 4 cups of food is what all of our, it doesn't matter our size or gender or whatever, we usually have about 4 cups of food space in our stomach. And all of us, regardless of what we eat during the day, all of us will eat at least 4 pounds of food by the time we go to bed to make us feel like we have eaten. So keep that in mind. I want to show you now what our stomachs look like and what it looks like in our, this won't be gross, I promise. What it looks like with 400 calories of food. I don't count calories. I don't measure my food. I don't do exchanges. I don't do anything like that. In fact, if you want to say that I watch my portions, I do. I make sure my portions are huge. I eat more to weigh less. And before I show you this, I want to tell you what happened after 2 years of eating plant-based. I dropped down more than 63 pounds. I have maintained that weight. I'm just a little bit up now because of some hormone therapy that I'm wrestling with. But I have maintained that weight in leeway. And I was Idaho State Queen for TOPS in 2020. So that is like a really huge, huge, huge thing. Right, Katie? Yeah. So with that being said, I knew that I had to find something that was sustainable, and that meant going plant-based. The other reason, before I show you what our stomachs look like, the other reason that this was important for me to lose weight wasn't for the scale. It had grown a lot more than that. It was my health. Like I said, there was cholesterol, there was high blood pressure, yada, yada, fill in the blanks, right? But I'm also a caregiver. I'm a caregiver to my husband who is stage 5 kidney failure, and he has dementia. He was diagnosed with dementia in his 50s and had to quit a 25-year career with the airlines. So it can happen to anyone. And I want to tell you right now, too, that when you stand up before the pastor and you give your wedding vows, and you say in sickness and in health, when you're 23 years old and all you can see is love and lust and all that stuff, I thought, when he gets the flu, I'll give him noodle soup, soda crackers, and 7-Up. Right? Isn't that what we think? We don't think someday down the road, he's going to get dementia. His kidneys are going to fail. Someday down the road, I'm going to find out that I have a very serious congenital heart defect, or I have a pinched S1 that's killing me. We don't think that stuff at the time. So I want to encourage you right now that if you know of someone who is suffering with any kind of a health issue, be their 80. And what I mean by that is when we stood up and we said our vows, I thought it was a 50-50 thing for marriage, right? You give 50, I give 50, or we each give 100, right? No, when one of us is seriously ill, it becomes an 80-20 equation. I am now the 80 for my husband's 20. And I'm 63, and he's 66. And it's going to be that way until one of us goes. And I've dealt with that, and I'm okay with that. When I lost my weight 2 years ago and became Idaho State Queen, I thought I had everything right and I was doing well. I was working out religiously 1.5 to 2 hours a day with cardio 5 or 6 days a week. And then a year ago this past summer, I felt a lump. And when we say that, we all know what that means, don't we? We don't have to say where the lump is. We just know, right? I didn't do anything about it because I had had a mammogram months earlier, and I thought, they caught it all. They'll call me if there's anything wrong. And it was just a tiny little lump, but it wouldn't go away, wouldn't go away. So last October, I saw my doctor, and she said, we better get that checked out. I had some diagnostic testing, I had mammogram, all that. 2 days before Thanksgiving this past year, I was on a walk. I was right by an icy lake where I live. And underneath it, there were fish swimming. I could just barely see the fish, and I just saw the ice. And I thought, I just looked at it because I was waiting for the doctor's call. And Carrie's call came in right there when I was right over the bridge. And it was the words I didn't want to hear. Judy, I want you to know that this didn't go the way I was hoping it would go, but it's going to end favorably. We caught it in time. And I just felt like that icy pond down below. I just felt like there's stuff underneath, and I can't deal with this. It's all frozen. So in January, I had a lumpectomy, January 9th, from Summit Cancer Center. And my surgeon was very pleased with it. He got clear margins. It was a stage 1. So I feel really good. It was grade 2 because when they took out 3 sentinels, one of them had isolated tumor cells. Excuse me, my throat is dry. Isolated tumor cells. So I have water here, Allison, thanks. So the thing is I went through 16 days of radiation, and I feel really good. I feel like nothing ever happened. And I feel guilty for that because I have friends who have been through a lot worse than me. And my oncologist, radiation oncologist said last week, she said, don't feel bad. No, don't feel bad. We have to celebrate our own stories, right? And that doesn't mean that we're minimizing anybody else's stories. All that to say here that cancer touched me big time. And I also knew that I had to take care of my health now, not just for the scales like I mentioned earlier. I had to take care of it because I want to live as long as I can. And I love life. If anybody knows me, I will see the glass as full, not half full, but it's got to be full. I will find some joy in everything. Right, Katie? I will. I'll do it. So the bottom line is I had to take care of myself because if I don't put on my oxygen mask and the plane decreases in altitude, we've all heard it, I have seconds before I lose consciousness. And if I lose consciousness, I'm sure as heck not going to be able to help my seatmate. For me, that's my husband of 43 years. So if I don't take care of if I don't take care of me, I won't take care of him. So now I've had breast cancer, right? And I feel very, very blessed for the outcome of it. But because of that, it is even more important now that I really watch my weight. I keep my weight down. I keep all of my lab work good. And instead of counting calories, I now count calorie density. Calorie density, again, I told you this earlier, is the measure of how many calories is in 1 pound of food. And I want to tell you, moving forward here, or from here on, I love carbs. You bring on the carbs, and I'm there. Because carbs are only 4 calories per gram, okay? And that's more than twice the amount for fat, which is 9 calories per gram. So go do the math on that. We need our carbs. I eat about 2 to 3 pounds of potatoes on some days, okay? And they don't hurt me. I thrive on them. My brain thrives on them. My nervous system thrives on them. So these are our stomachs here. Okay, I told you that it wouldn't look gross, right? Okay, those are our stomachs. This is 400 calories of food. But I couldn't get, don't you love golden potatoes, by the way? Costco's got the best. They won't fit in there, but that's 400 calories of food. Now, what if I was to do a diet where I have to have so many exchanges or check the boxes. I have to have so many starches or proteins or whatever. But the most important thing is I can only have so many calories. I did the whole, has anybody ever done the calorie diet thing before? And how did that work for you? It's a lot of work. And can you sustain it? Could you do it in a month, in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years? Can you live that way? And will the weight stay off? I wanted something that was sustainable, and I could eat a bucket load of food. And right now, I can eat as much as I want, and I will watch my portions and make sure they're big, and I will continue to lose my weight. So, are you ready for this? This is 400 calories of food. I couldn't get it in a jar. Broccoli. I bet the chef would love to have that right now, right? Maybe he'll stir fry for us. This is 400 calories of food. Did you know the potato is considered the most perfect food in the world? It is full of vitamin C. It's full of iron. It's full of the B vitamins and vitamin C. It is so good for us. Does it look like this can make your butt fat? But we know what does make it fat when we put it, what we put on the potato, right? 400 calories. This is 2 cups of cooked rice. Do you see how it's filling up the stomach? I personally can't imagine eating 2 cups of rice, but that fills up the stomach. Black beans. You're ready for this one. You're going to love me for this. Oh, my goodness. I opened the package, and I accidentally ate them last night. Fritos. 400 calories of Fritos. And you can imagine how lightweight they are, right? Versus how heavy. So the deal is this is what I call, in very simple terms, because I'm not a nutritionist, I have no medical degrees, this is called nutrient dense. Okay, that's what I call it, nutrient dense. It is not full of calories. And the key thing that you want to remember when you're watching calorie density and not calories, and I challenge each one of you to give this a go for 1 week and see how you feel, is just remember the more fiber and the more water in your food, the lower it is in calorie density. The lower it is in calorie density. Why aren't there many in here? It's 400 calories. Why aren't there a lot in here? What's it full of? What was it? Yeah, well, crap. Yeah, it is. It is. Is there fiber in this? There's oil. We'll get to the oil thing. Don't get me started. I'm glad the chef is in there right now. Oh, these were really hard. Thank God my grandkids, I had them for 2 days because they had a hoot with these things. These are chocolate-covered mint. Oh, I see that look right there. Chocolate mint-covered cookies, or whatever. You know what they're called. These are, of course, they're dairy-free. These are chocolate chips, 400 calories. Are you ready for this? This is my favorite one. I get excited about this. Okay, how many calories in this again? And here? All of these, how many? Are you ready for this? Keep the chef back there. What is this? Oil is the most calorie-dense food in the world, across the whole planet. How many calories is it for a pound? 4,000. 4,000 calories per pound. When you could saute in water or broth, vegetable broth, or something else. Because when I used to cook with oil, for crying out loud, I'm going to probably use at least 2 tablespoons just to saute my stuff. But where is there it doesn't show anywhere except, or it coats the endothelium, which is the lining of our arteries. I mean, you just go figure. So the whole deal is I learned that I had to get my weight down and do it in a sustainable way. And I am here to say that my blood pressure is bomb diggity good. It was, last week it was, and this was with the white coat syndrome. Does anybody get that when you go to the doctor? You get that too? Oh my goodness. Yeah, mine was 123/78, something like that, okay? So, and my weight went down, it stayed down. Life is good because I'm taking care of myself, and I no longer have to watch my calories. I don't have to count anything. And I love my TOPS group because TOPS will never tell you how much you have to weigh. They're just there to support you. And I get to love on people and support them all the time. I love the fact that I have more energy now. I feel great. And now I'm able to not only help my husband and be his 80 while he's my 20, I'm able to eat as much food as I want, and he has to eat this way. And with his kidney failure, his nephrologist has said, keep eating this, keep doing what you're doing. My cardiologist told me, and it is congenital, my cardiologist told me twice, Judy, if you had not been eating the way that you're eating, we would have seen you in a cath lab a long time ago. So I encourage you to give calorie density a try if you are wanting to get healthy. And if there's only one step that you want to do at first, I would honestly say, cut this out of your life first and watch how good your joints feel the next day, because it's a huge inflammation causer. Causer? Did I just make up that word? A lot of my lifestyle has come from James Clear, Atomic Habits. If you haven't read it, you got to get it. This guy has changed our lives. Literally, he has been a game changer. I believe in making 1% change and being consistent. That means that I may want to run, but I haven't run, a 12K for years, and I don't know what I'm doing. Well, then I would tell my friend, let's just say my friend wants to run. I would tell my friend, the first step you're going to do is 1%. You're going to lay your shoes out before you go to bed. Just lay your shoes out. And you keep doing that every night. You lay your shoes out. You're not running the marathon. You're just laying your shoes out. That's 1% change. It seems boring, but it's obvious, and it's easy, and it's going to work. And then pretty soon you start trusting yourself. Well, if I have my shoes, why don't, I'll just put them on. So you wear your walking shoes. I don't care if you walk out the door to the mailbox. If all you do is stay in your house, you wear your shoes. And you keep doing it until it's consistent. If you want to have Pizza Hut, I had to think of a name of a pizza company. If you want to go to Pizza Hut and have your pizza, for crying out loud, have your pizza. But you don't like veggies, but you'd like to start adding more veggies, then take a few broccoli spears or take a few grape tomatoes, two grape tomatoes, and add them to the side of your plate. And it doesn't seem like a lot, but it's 1%. And you do that every time you have pizza, you're going to reach for a vegetable. And what's going to happen eventually when you have pizza? You're going to get more vegetables because you're going to want the vegetables. You're going to want to start trusting yourself more. So, and I want to leave you with one more thing. I'd like each of you to find a partner right now and turn to your partner. So if you're on the end, can someone be her? Do we have a partner for everybody here? We have to have 2 people in a row. 2 people. Everybody have a partner? Okay. Everybody ready? I know that this is outside of our comfort level. I'm so sorry. Okay, everyone has a partner. So turn to your partner, and with the very, very sweetest face, most beautiful, talking about beauty, the most beautiful face you can think of, I want you to look the eyes in your partner right now and say with as much disgust as you can, I really don't like you. Okay, go. Okay, now, with the most disgusting face that you could make, I want you to turn to your partner and say, I really, really like you. You guys wouldn't win a poker game because you don't hide the emotions very well. But here's the whole thing. When you just said those to those people, it emphasizes the fact that we don't know what anybody is going through. We don't know that. If you saw me all smiles at Safeway, you wouldn't know that I had gone through 16 days of radiation. You wouldn't know that I've left my husband alone, and he's going to be pacing the floor while I'm gone. And yes, he's okay. He can do. By the way, he's on hospice. So Fred Rogers said it this way: we never know what someone goes through until we walk in their shoes. So when you just did that exercise, try to remember that the next time you see someone in a store or a bank or at the coffee stand or wherever you go, and they may have a really disgusting look on their face. They may be really kind inside. They may have just gotten a cancer diagnosis, or they may have a husband with dementia. And sometimes you might see people who are just the opposite. So don't let someone's expression stop you from reaching out to someone. You are either going to be an 80 for someone today when you come home. You will be, if you live with someone, you will be their 80, or you may be the 20 who needs an 80. So I want to encourage each of you 2 things here. Number 1, if you want to get healthy, explore calorie density. You don't have to count a darn thing as long as you keep your calories below 600 calories per serving, which is really easy by eating right here. Beans, grains, legumes, fruits, vegetables, as much as you want. All of my meals are 50-50. They are 50% vegetables, 50% starch. And it's a great way to go. And the second thing that I want to tell you is to just be gracious to yourselves. Because if you're not a 20 right now, like I was in January when I needed Katie's help and my daughter's help, there is going to come a time where you're going to be a 20. And you're going to need that 80 person in your life. Take the help that the 80 gives you, because 80 and 20 add up to what? And that's what we want, is 100. Thank you.
Are we on? We're on. Okay.
Okay, so these are just from my home. They're just to encourage you. Joey, are you here? There's all kinds of stuff in here. Put your hand in there and grab something. Oh. He got a potato, and it says, "Positive potato. I may be a tiny potato, but I believe in you. Go do your thing." Okay, next person. I told you these were really fancy. Brenda. What's that? I just grabbed something for you. Okay. She got a magnet. What does it say?
The best way to predict the future is to create it.
Okay. All right. Jean Forrester, come on down. There you go, my dear. Renee. I love that name. That's Katie's middle name. Renee. Are you here? Oh, she doesn't get the prize because she left early. Yvonne. Yvonne, you get a little prayer card. Okay, what does it say?
Let all that you do be done in love, 1 Corinthians 16:14.
Right, and that really comes in handy when you're a caregiver, trust me, because there's days where the air might get a little blue and my dad used to say it's enough to make a man lose his religion. So there's times when caregivers have rough days. So let everything be done in love. That really works good. Okay, we got a few more here. We have Sandra.
God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Psalms 46:1.
All right. It's good when you get that cancer diagnosis or you're the 20 caring for the 80. Nancy. Is Nancy here? Nancy Schwartz? Paula. Are you Nancy?
Yes.
Hi.
Schwartz.
That's for you. What does it say?
May the Lord bless you and keep you. I don't have my glasses on. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Numbers 6:24.
Right. Did I say Paula? You're Paula? Paula Vanderberg? Okay. Oris Lopez? Oh, that's a C. There you go. He's got a magnet.
A hug is always the right size. Winnie the Pooh.
And everybody says, "Aww." And we have Clarice. Clarice, are you Clarice? I'm trying to get to it. Just a minute. There.
Kent Never Did Anything by Richard Brown.
That was my dad, and he always used to say can't, never did anything. We weren't allowed to say can't when I was growing up. I grew up with congenital scoliosis, which obviously I still have, and I've got a steel rod in my spine, and I wore a Milwaukee brace for 23 hours a day for 7.5 years and all of that, right? And Dad never allowed me to say can't. I mean, I did sports, I did everything in school because I wasn't allowed to say can't. I'm not saying that to look at me, I'm just saying that we all know people who are positive in life and they've got struggles, and those people that we look up to usually won't say the word can't, right? Can't is a 4-letter word. Okay, we have any more? Let's see. Denise Robinson. You got your positive potato. And I think that's it. So thank you again, you guys.
Thank you, Mom. I'll just use this. So that's pretty much wraps up today. We want to thank you all so much for coming. I did want to give a little note on the calorie density. If you're not eating a lot of plants right now, any step to eat more over here is fantastic. If it takes a little bit of oil to get you there, it's baby steps. It took me 5 years to eat mostly whole foods plant-based, and I just had that curry in the back, and it is really good, and there is some oil in it, and I'm going to enjoy the heck out of it. So just take your baby steps to eat more plants, and if you want, help, Ellison and I do the cooking classes every month, and then she did list off that I think the packet has the daily dozen in there too, which is all really good goals to get you eating more plant-based food. So that is it. We'll have you mingle to the back and pick a table there. We're going to make sure that all the food is set up and ready to go, and then we'll call you over for dinner in just a couple of minutes.